Purpose. Aren't everybody looking for purpose out there in the 3D world? You know, a lot of people have careers that they didn't even choose. Imagine being a doctor when you didn't want to be one. Imagine being an engineer when you never wanted to be one. And you're still looking for things as you go to your 9-to-5 job. You would never have picked that work, that career, that job. And you're still looking for something because there's something missing. There's a void. I truly believe that we're here for a reason. And if you don't find that reason, you just live your whole life unfulfilled. So let's go through a couple of the ways to do this. And of course, I'm going to start off with Michael Singer, which is the way I found my purpose before I ever met Michael Singer. Now, I have been working since I was, 14, 15 years old. And I've done all kinds of careers. So those of you that are interested in my past and my journey from childhood, I will start to dribble it in my videos. I've done all kinds of careers. I've done hot dog stands. I've worked at carnivals. I have driven an ice cream truck. Yep, I used to drive an ice cream truck. I used to fill vending machines. I was an Uber driver. I used to shovel snow in people's driveways, do lawnmower, or rake leaves in fall. Yes, all kinds of stuff. But I've been to military. I've been trained in medical school. I've been to medical school. I don't practice that, but I've been in corporate America. I have a YouTube channel. I have a community, mysticalbeing.org. I've had an IT software staffing company that I launched a long time ago while I was in corporate America. Okay, so purpose. The way I did it was allowing myself to get into whichever career came in front of me. And if it felt good at the time, I would try it. I would give it a shot and give it all I got. You know, just like Michael Singer says that he wanted to do a radical experiment of surrender. He just wanted to surrender. Hence the book Surrender Experiment, right? So he did that. I believe he started in the 70s. And the way the Temple of the Universe came to be and the way he found his wife, everything simply was just happening. Kind of like my YouTube channel, just happened by accident. And then I get a call from someone from Canada one day, and he's now my business partner. He built the company, the website, the app. Everything just happened. Everything just happened. I have no idea how it happened. Embracing the change is, I think, the biggest way to find your purpose in life. What is something that Greg Braden talks about, and Bruce Lipton too? When you expose yourself to new spaces, new things, new people, new environments, what happens is new genes turn on epigenetically. So when you expose yourself to a new environment, it changes the way your genes express themselves. So more and more of you gets unlocked. You know, most of you is dormant. And the more things you try, the more experiences you have, the more risks you take, the more of you gets unlocked. And the more of you that gets unlocked, the more you get to know yourself, who you truly are, and the more you run into things that resonate with you, especially if you have surrendered, if you have an open heart, if you're doing the work, if you're allowing life to unfold in a way that is a direct vibrational match, and you're working on increasing your happiness tolerance level. Because if you don't raise your happiness tolerance, any happiness that you run into that is above your happiness tolerance, your subconscious mind will ruin it for you, and you will self-sabotage yourself back to what is familiar. Any change that is not familiar to you, good or bad, is uncomfortable until it is familiar, right? So if you don't raise your happiness tolerance, you will self-sabotage yourself every single time, from relationships, jobs, careers, business, partnerships, including family members. You need to raise your consciousness. You need to have it be familiar to you as you raise it enough times. That is why when you start to do this work, it is so uncomfortable in the beginning. Your brain is all over the place. You feel like you're being tortured just by closing your eyes and putting your phone away. You're feeling tortured. The more you do that, you end up opening your heart. You become calm within you. And when you do that, your senses change because your energy changes, and nothing can change in your life until you change your energy. And when you change your energy, the things you look at, you're looking at them differently now. And every time you're looking at things differently, the things you look at change because of your energy. And you change, and you're a projector. The inner world is being reflected outward. And in your field, the energy becomes more and more coherent. And what is disease? What are bad experiences? They are distorted projections. Why? Because of the incoherence in your inner world, in your field. This hologram is simply a projection of the information in the field. The more coherent the information in the field, the better the projection, the better the experience. The more aligned you are with your higher self, the more you can create space for higher self to flow through you and give you what you want. Your higher self is infinitely smarter than you, but it is also you are an extension of it. So if you work with it, sometimes you'll end up saying things where you're like, whoa, that was impressive. Where did that come out of? Something to keep in mind. Purpose. Most people do not know their purpose. They just run into it. They just allow it to come to them. When you suddenly feel inspired. I have met so many people through Michael Singer, his community, Dr. Joe. I'm part of online communities with Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, Dr. Wayne Dyer, even the people that are very old, but they used to, be part of communities with Alan Watts. And I'm so curious that I want to know more. What else is there to life? There's more to life than meets the eye. Everybody knows that statement. They don't know what it means truly. There's more to life than meets any of your senses. There are other entities and species that you can't see because we are cosmically blind. We can see less than 1% of light. We can see less than 1% of existence. We can perceive our matter is less than 1%, which means most people live their lives experiencing less than 1% of life, their existence. That's a tragedy. But you only have to have one good mystical experience, and you're never the same again. A new adventure begins. A new exploration begins. You figure out what a think box is. You figure out what a play box is because you're so curious. You're like, first of all, before I meditate, I want to know how it is done. I want to know how I'm going to do breath. What does it mean for me to push energy from the bottom 3 to the top of my head and out my head? How do I become divine? How do I get closer to divinity? It's represented in a symbol of halo, is it not? What is halo? Divinity. What is the opposite of halo? Horns. Who has horns? Animal. Animals have horns. So the animal within us lives in the bottom 3 energy centers. 1, 2, and 3. Right? Upper belly, right behind your belly button, and your perineum. Those 3 is where the animal, the lust, just eating food, judging, ego, all that animalistic energy stays in the bottom 3. But when you figure out how to push that energy up to your brain, up to your heart, essentially, what does that mean? Heart is the doorway, right? Heart is the doorway. That's why the symbol of heart is two triangles, essentially on top of each other, right? If you look at the heart symbol, two triangles. One triangle is facing up, one is facing down. Why? It's the doorway. What happens when you push your energy into your heart? The only way it can move is up from there onwards. That's why we do breath work. I'm going to do another video very detailed about how to do breath work. I'll teach you a couple different kinds, 4 or 5 different kinds of breaths. And we'll do them together. And yes, one of them is going to knock me out, because I just leave. Well, maybe I'll do that at my retreat. I have a retreat coming up on August 17th. Maybe I'll do it live. I like being silly. Why not? When energy goes to your heart, if you can push your energy, the animalistic energy in you, right? There's a life force energy in your first energy center. It's very strong. It is coiled up. That's why it is considered a serpent. And then there's the digestive energy center. And then there's the ego energy centers. They're both consumers, right? People that are stuck in the bottom 3 energy centers are energy vampires. They will suck your energy. Sleepwalkers. I call them sleepwalkers, because they're experiencing less than 1% of life, less than 1% of existence. They are stuck in the Newtonian way of life, Newtonian way of living. Matter to matter, everything. They want you to change so they can feel better. They want the government to change so they can feel better. They want taxes to go down so they can feel better. They want the new car so they can feel better. The problem with that is you can give them all of those things. They will still not feel better. When you push that animalistic energy up to your heart, now instead of consumption of energy, you are expansionists of energy. You're just shooting it up to your brain, out, you're becoming magnetic. You're changing the way your energy flows through you. You're becoming a vessel of allowing life to unfold. Life has been unfolding for 13.8 billion years. If you're lucky, you'll be here for 100 years, which is a blip, just a little blip of time. And for that blip of time, you want the world to unfold the way you want? That's resistance. Just have the experience of life. And the cool thing is, when you get out of your own way, when you reduce and eliminate resistance, your vibration goes up, your frequency goes up, your happiness tolerance goes up, because you're simply now an observer. And when that goes up, now life is conspiring to dance around you, to unfold around you in a way that is a vibrational match to you. You find people that become your vibrational family. You start to perceive the world around you differently. Your senses gets heightened. Imagine being able to see 10%, 20% more. Imagine being able to hear 10 and 20% more. Taste 20% more. Smell 20% more. This might not make sense to a sleepwalker watching. Oh my God, the other day I had a sandwich. Right before I went to get food, I parked the car. I didn't take my belt off, my seat belt, because in case I drop during my breath work. So I did a breath work, right? I changed my state. I raised my energy, became magnetic. Went outside, got food, came back to the car, and I'm driving to the beach because I wanted to see some dolphins. I wanted to sit by the beach, put my feet in the water, and I'm in Florida. What else am I going to do? So I'm driving, and I just took a bite of the turkey sandwich, and it blew my mind. Like, oh my God, this is the best thing I've ever had in my life. And it was just a darn sandwich. But I was buzzing with beauty, with energy. I was so happy, my heart was exploding with love. There's so many ways for you to find your purpose, because your purpose will also be aligned with your vibration, with your vibrational match. And your purpose will change as your vibrational match goes up, as your happiness tolerance goes up, as your dominant vibration goes up. The purpose will evolve for you. It'll change. And as it changes, you are evolving. You are going from horns to halo. You are overcoming the animal within you, and you are introducing the divine within you to yourself. You are separating yourself in the bonds of the fear and anxiety of the future and traumas, guilt, and shame of the past. You're clearing and purifying your field. You're creating coherence in your field. And the more coherence you create in your field, the more clarity you will have in the projection in this hologram. People will be so kind to you. They will be so patient with you. They will be so loving to you. They will serve you, and you will be doing the same with them. Kind of like when somebody hugs you at a retreat and they're like, thank you so much. And you're like, no, thank you. And they say, no, thank you. Imagine that kind of love. So much love you can barely it's changing your state of mind. It's changing the way you look at the world. It's changing the way you perceive people in time and space. It can only get better. Keep doing the work. Do not be afraid of river of change. Do not be afraid of initial frustrations. Do not be afraid of the animal kicking you while you're taming it initially. I know, it's tough. If it wasn't, everybody would be divine and enlightened. But to get through that stage, that initial river of change, where you have to overcome your already given inherited destiny of DNA, overcoming your programming, overcoming your old beliefs, it sucks. It's challenging. But the moment you get on the other side of the river, whew, there's heaven waiting for you. You don't need to die to get to heaven.